So Xiaoyan, how can advanced and sustainable robotic technology help us achieve a circular economy worldwide?
Yeah, absolutely. So to achieve a circular economy, we need to have efficient and effective recycling process, which is now the case globally. So the current recycling process is manual and is profoundly inefficient. The recyclables generated through the current process contains a very high percentage of contaminants, resulting in them either ending up in landfill or having to go through a costly another manual process for them to be useful. So without an efficient and effective recycling process, uh, the the path to achieve a circular economy is a very costly and a very long time. So here is where the advanced robotics kicks in. So we are thinking the affordable and advanced sustainable robotic sorting solution will able to significantly increase the recycling efficiency with the efficient recycling and the outputs through the efficient recycling process will be highly with a very high purity level, where the buyers of recycled material can just immediately using them for remanufacturing or making new bottles, new products using these recycled materials. Does not need to go through another costly manual process. So that's where we see the robotic solutions kicks in. That's exactly what we are trying to achieve at Danu Robotics.
Mhm. There's so much there to unpack, and I want to just kind of summarize what you've said there before we start breaking it down a little bit more. So what you've actually said is, even though we're currently recycling, it's still going through manual processes, which means it's completely ineffective. If things are contaminated, so say for example, I don't clean the food from my plastics before I put it in the recycling, it goes through a manual process, it's contaminated, it can potentially still end up in landfill as well. And we then have to do more processes. So fundamentally, we just don't have the capacity to actually achieve a circular economy. And I want to take that circular economy point and just step back a little bit, because what is a circular economy and why is it a key part of net zero, just to make sure that everybody understands the terms net circular economy and its relationship to net zero.
Yeah, absolutely. So different people may have a different understanding of a circular economy. Here is Lily's joining us.
The cat's coming in for the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So to us, for our understanding, circular economy really is minimize our reliance on the virgin material. So the concept is we recycle what is already being used in the industry. For example, a plastic bottle that is recyclable. So essentially, to produce a new plastic bottle, we need oil. So that's extraction, that's virgin material. So the circular economy model is to remove the needs for the virgin material, just use this bottle, reuse it again and again and again. Once you throw away, we go through cleaning process and send to the manufacturing, making a new bottle. So that is a circular economy. That means we have this limited material, we can make it into products, then recycle it, reuse it, and into another new product where the resource is literally limitless, because we don't rely on any virgin material. We just rely on the human recreation, just reuse the same material over again. So we have this material can last forever.
So in a way, I mean, it's very much what I'm hearing you say is that the circular economy is like nature. So say, for example, if we take a tree in a forest, once the tree dies, it's decomposed, the fungi comes in, it turns the tree into something new that helps the forest to grow. And what I'm hearing you say is that when we adopt this same concept within plastics and how we use materials, in effect, then we are repurposing and reusing everything without actually creating any waste whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. So circular economy model, the magic is we don't rely on the virgin material as heavily as a linear economy model. And we also have unlimited resource just based on the reprocessing, the way we're using them. So things like the reliance on mining, deep sea mining, always kind of having a devastating impact on the environment. This kind of industrial activities can be just gradually diminished because we have resource already in our hand. We just need to using human effort and recreation method to reuse them.
Yeah, and that's really interesting what you said about the recycling processes there of minerals for deep sea mining and just mining in itself, because they're, we're using, as technology increases, we're using more and more rare resources within the earth. But what, again, I'm hearing you say is with this concept of the circular economy, we can tap into, I suppose, our innate natural human ingenuity to be creative and find ways and processes to keep on using the same resources again and again in different ways. But from what I've really heard you say there, it starts by us taking better care of the resources in the first place so that we're able to keep on reusing them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So in terms of the impact to CO2 emission, it's great. I mean, the activity for extracting resource, it has a massive, massive impact on the environment. If we can reduce this impact dramatically, and that definitely is one way to create a cleaner and greener future.
And so this ties into net zero. I just want to make sure that we're really making the links here, knowing that there's so many different words that can confuse people, especially when they step into this space. So if the circular economy is about reducing waste so that we are recycling, reusing the resources in the most effective manner possible, creating no waste, then what I would assume that the link then between the circular economy and net zero is that we can reduce our carbon emissions because we're reducing the amount of resources that we're continuing to extract and use from, I'm going to use the term virgin resources, i.e. resources that are coming directly from the earth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to using heavy machinery, there's people involved, transportation, extraction, storage. It's just massive, massive CO2 emission activities.
So then, where I'm curious in terms of what you're doing with Danu Robotics is that you're talking about how robotics, which is technology, can help us achieve this more circular economy and help reduce carbon emissions. So is it not a bit counterintuitive to be using technology in order to reach net zero, or is it more effective use of technology reduces the carbon emissions?
Yeah, exactly. It's a technology. It's a tool. I always have depending on how it's being used and who is using it. So for us, I am the active environmentalist, and I also passionate about technological development. So I really believe with the right technology, with the right application, it is will be a significant tool for us to achieve net zero and the circular economy in a very rapid way. For example, for us, we are developing the robotic solution that it's not just a technological advancement, it is a sustainable solution itself. So the entire company activities currently is based in Scotland, where we are using clean energy, and also we identify all the recyclable and sustainable materials to build our solution. In this way, we ensure our products and our activity ourselves are sustainable and has very low emission. And also we already in place, there is a plan to recycle the materials ourselves. So for when we trying to achieve zero waste is we make our solution using sustainable materials, also make sure it can last a very long time with proper maintenance and repairment. The second way is we have already in the planning stage to make sure we can recycle these technological solutions ourselves. So it reduces the impact on the earth when our product reach to the end of life.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that's a really powerful point that you've just made there, in that it's not that technology itself is sustainable or unsustainable, good or bad. It's how the technology itself is designed. And I hear that what you've said there is you've got a lot of thought and consideration into how that you've thought about what it is that you're doing at Danu Robotics to create something that is built on the very principles that it wants to deploy. So what I'd like to do is just take a little step back and help the people who are listening to this recording understand a little bit more about what is it that you're doing at Danu Robotics, just so that they can get a better sense of context about that work.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're currently developing an AI-powered, vision-guided, multi-agent robotic sorting system that can significantly increase the recycling efficiency. We know the current contamination level is around 50% to 10%. So our system can help recycling companies to reduce the contamination rates to below 1% and produce a very high purity level of recyclables that can be sold immediately and used by the buyers immediately to producing the new products using these recycled materials. And our solution is also designed to be sustainable, affordable, and scalable, flexible, and future-proof. Our goal, our company mission is to create a greener and cleaner future for us all. So we really want to support the recycling activities worldwide, whether it's in developed countries or developing nations. And for us, making profit is now the only goal, and we definitely will make a great effort to support all the recycling activities. So at the moment, we are actually in discussions with EU tech chambers. So it's an organization that promotes the EU technology to the developing nations. So they have stated the strong support to our product ideas. We also have discussions with a number of small recycling companies and the local councils who currently just hiring people to sort out waste cannot afford to purchase million pounds worth of material recovery facility to process waste. So when we're talking to them, our solution is affordable, is small size, is flexible and adaptable, and it's just exactly what they need to solve their needs to process the domestic waste. So that way we think we can really make a great contribution to the recycling activities globally, and to just helping people, helping locals who want to have a very efficient recycling process to achieve a circular a circular economy locally. So that really is our goal, to help locals to enable locals to have a efficient recycling machine that can help them to do circular economy locally.
Mm-hmm. So there's two things there that I want to pick up on, and I think they're really important in terms of what you've said. And you mentioned statistics way back at the beginning when you were saying that about 50% of recycling is currently contaminated, and through the technology that you've got, you can actually reduce that contamination through this AI sorting. You can reduce it from 50% down to 1%. So what you're saying is there's 49% of recycling that you can actually make effective to be able to be used in other ways to help contribute to that circular economy. And that's a huge gap in terms of the stats there. So I really wanted to highlight that, as I said. But then you were also talking about how technology, and I think this is the practical applications of bringing in AI and robotics, when people are maybe a bit skeptical and don't really understand what AI is capable of. And, you know, we've got imaginary visions of technology taking over the world. But what I'm hearing you say is that we can bring solutions like this into our local community. So what you're saying is, and I want to make sure I'm understanding this properly, is it's not just that you can save this additional 49% of recycling that might be going to landfill, you're also actually reducing the sorting process, because the recycling is not having to be picked up, it's not having to be transported to another unit, then recycled and then maybe shipped off or put into landfill. People and communities can actually start doing small scale recycling right in their area. So it's kind of like a decentralized process that technology could potentially help us reach within communities, which I suppose my understanding is then that we're giving communities more ownership and more capabilities over the possibilities of what happens for recycling.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This solution, it's really will empower the local communities, particularly small communities, to achieve that efficient recycling process, to really empower them to form a circular economy model locally. So recycled material, the market opportunity for recycled material is huge and it's growing. It is anticipated to reach over 300 billion by 2027. So for local communities, like a local council, they can do recycling themselves with a very high purity level of recyclables. They can sell them in the global market, in the international market. That is an additional revenue. They don't have to remanufacturing themselves, but there's a lot of companies, a lot of manufacturing, a lot of packaging company are actively looking for the recycled material that is a high purity level, that is a high quality. So we think this solution is not only just for local to achieve a efficient recycling, but it's also another revenue for the locals. And we just think it's a great thing to do.
Yeah, and I can really hear the passion coming through as you're talking about this, which for me is always the most exciting part of speaking to anybody in an innovation space of, are you excited about it? But you made that point there of, yes, this is about actually helping communities achieve net zero. It's also then creating more financial resources that you're able to sell on national, global markets. And you gave a really nice figure there of how much the recycling market is. But then as we're starting to look at how we create different types of communities and how we function differently, knowing that as we're making this just transition to a net zero economy, it is going to require fundamental redesign of all our pro-human processes and systems. It's also meaning that it's potentially creating more opportunities for jobs within local communities, because then people can come in and go, oh, here is this resource. This is what I can do. I could actually create a business out of this and fit it in either within the local community or within the national and global markets. It doesn't doesn't just have to be a direct from local community straight to the global market. It's got far more opportunity to spread out and create entrepreneurial behaviors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we are kind of enabling technology. So with the recyclable materials, high quality recyclable materials generated, it really depends on how the local communities want to use it, want to take advantage of this. And it's not only just generating green jobs and income, it's such a huge great benefit to the environment. It doesn't have a need for the landfill anymore. And so I don't remember who I speak with, but some people from recycling industry, they told us everything can be recycled, literally. Every kind of plastics can be recycled. It's just about they want the very high quality sort out that particular type of materials. So once the type of material, that type of recycled material with very high purity level, very high quality, they can just reuse it. And the package companies out there, the manufacturing company is out there. So without this manual sorting process, it's just it's a acceleration. It's a acceleration progress from use a material to creating a new product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love that. So as we wrap up our conversation today, I'm curious, what action are you going to take? What is going to be your legacy from COP26?
For me, for us, we are a mission-driven company. We will continue our mission until until the environment is cleaned up. So for us, we are not just creating a robotic sorting system for the recycling industry, for the household waste. We also in discussions with people from textile recycling industry, e-waste recycling, battery recycling, and also people who wanted to do hazard waste processing. And for example, like a medical device, low value medical device such as inhalers, to do different sorting. And as long as the activity is related with recycling and related with cleaning up the environment, we are really willing to get involved. We also in the planning stage to developing underwater robots. Those can clean up the ocean floor and the river beds. So for us, our ambition really is to clean up the environment and to create a greener and a cleaner future for us all.
I like that. And what I'm also hearing from a business perspective, you know, I like bringing it down to earth. It's about diversifying and being able to say, hey, we've got this technology, but we can deploy it and diversify into different areas of recycling. We can also then adapt our model, take it underwater, and actually start cleaning up the ocean and removing the debris that's within there.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Xiaoyan, for joining me today and sharing a little bit more about how advanced and sustainable robotic technology can help us achieve a circular economy worldwide.
Thank you, Tabby. Thank you for your time. It's a pleasure to speaking with you. It's our passion. It's our mission as well.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.